Some background as to how we got to this question right here. I made a video talking about how Donald Trump has had pedophilic thoughts over the course of his lifetime. Somebody asked me how I could prove that Donald Trump had pedophilic thoughts. So I gave a list of examples. This person said, could you please put a compilation video of this together? I have not seen these videos. Absolutely. One of the first things that I said was that Donald Trump talked about a little girl going up an escalator. And he said, I will be dating her in 10 years. Meaning, when she turns 18 and it's legal to do so, I will date this little girl, who was 8 at the time. That is looking at an 8-year-old girl and thinking about having a sexual relationship with her, a romantic relationship with her in the future. That's looking at a little girl and having sexual thoughts. Here's the audio of that.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
10-year-old, sorry, not an 8-year-old. Another example I gave was when Donald Trump spoke about his daughter, Tiffany, who he had with Marla Maples, in a sexual nature when she was an infant. Here you go.
It's about their daughter, Tiffany, who was then just a year old.
Now, Donna, what does Tiffany have of yours and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
That's Donald Trump talking about a 1-year-old girl in terms of what her future breasts would look like. I mean, his own 1-year-old, but any 1-year-old. He's having thoughts about what her future breasts would look like. Then I talked about how he bragged about walking into a teenage dressing room so he could say teenage girls naked when he ran the pageant.
Trump talking about how he had free reign at his beauty pageants.
I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
That's Donald Trump bragging about getting away with going into a dressing room full of teenage girls so he could see them naked. These are all pedophilic thoughts that are being spoken out loud by this man. Nobody looks at a 10-year-old girl and thinks about, wow, when she fills out, I'm going to be dating her. Nobody looks at a 1-year-old girl and thinks about what her breasts are going to look like when she's grown up. And nobody brags about being able to go into a teenage girl's dressing room so he could see all of these teenage girls naked, referring to them as beautiful young women. They're not women, they're girls. Then I talked about all the times he talked about and expressed an interest in having relations with Ivanka. Now, he has been known to talk about Ivanka in very flattering ways when she was a kid, and we've all seen the borderline inappropriate, provocative photographs that her and him took together over the years. Here are some examples of him talking about that very thing when she was an adult.
They have an issue with it then. If they were using her to...
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Not only does he look at little girls in a sexual nature, he looks at little girls in his own family, his own children in a sexual nature, which is not only pedophilic in many instances over the years, but incestuous.